What is up, guys? Hope everyone out there is having a great day. It's been a good day out here in Colorado. Spent a little time riding out at Keystone this morning. Got some friends in town, so things are going good here in Colorado. Glad to be back home for sure. Just got back from our Japan trip, as you guys probably know. Got some matcha green tea here behind me. Probably my favorite souvenir. Yeah, such a great trip. So stoked to be able to hang out with Kevin and Bo for a little while. Already got 93 people on the stream. What is up, guys? Good to see all of you. Thank you for here to join me today. So per usual, I'm just going to try to answer as many questions as I can for you guys. If you have any gear questions, any snowboard related questions, throw them out there. I'll scroll to the top here in a minute and just start trying to get to as many as I can. If you have a really important question and you want to make sure that it gets answered, you can also do a super chat that'll highlight the question for you. You should see a little box underneath the chat there for that. So also a great way to support the channel. And also, if you want to let us know where you're from, it's always cool to see where everyone's joining us from here. Love the community we got here on Snowboard Pro Camp. So I'll jump into it here in just a minute. I'll give you a quick update as to what I'm up to this week, what we got coming to the channel. Still got a few videos to come from the Japan trip. I got a couple of board reviews. The board review for the Rosignol Sushi should be up later today. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And I've got another board review on the Solomon Six Stick, and we got one more day vlog coming out pretty soon as well. So stoked to get all those videos out for you guys. And gonna be getting some more written reviews going and starting to film more board reviews out here in Colorado. So this week I'm gonna be hopping on the United Shapes Orbit. If you guys are familiar with United Shapes, I know a lot of you have been asking about that brand. More of a surfy, carving kind of powder brand, so really excited to get on some of their boards. It'll be my first time trying any of their boards. And then the Battalion Global Warmer as well, so hyped to try that guy out. And I'll be riding this week with some friends out here at Keystone probably most of the time, maybe getting out to Copper next week. So a lot of fun stuff to come. And then hopefully by the end of the month or sometime soon, we'll have Kevin out here in Colorado and get to have some fun shredding with Kevin too. So other than that, we'll be going live on Patreon right after this just for a quick 30-minute hangout. If you guys want to join us there, for myself, it's patreon.com/board archive. And Kevin has a Patreon as well that you should definitely check out. His is patreon.com/SnowboardProCamp. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up and start getting into these questions, you guys. Thank you for dropping so many questions and comments for me. About halfway through, I usually try to go for an hour or so, maybe around that 30-minute mark. I'm going to stop and talk a little bit about board flex and just kind of give you guys my thoughts on that and kind of what soft versus mid versus stiffer flex would be best for to maybe help you guys choose that part of your board selection a little bit better. Awesome, guys. So I did see a super chat come through here from Conico or Conic 076907. Thank you, man. Appreciate the super chat. Didn't see a question with it. If you had a question, I'll keep my eyes peeled, but I appreciate the super chat, man. Awesome, guys. So we got a lot of what's ups and hellos. The Rabid Gaming, what's up, man? Soviet man, good to see you here. Some new names I'm seeing here today. Kieran22, what's up, man? Dawson, Patrick, good to see all you guys. Patrick asking how's the Japan. It was good, man. We the most recent video, or the one before the last one that Kevin just posted, where we got a little bit of fresh snow. That was probably the best snow of the trip. So we didn't get any of those huge half-meter snows with the really soft, light Japan, how you kind of envision when you're thinking about Japan, but we definitely got some good snow. Did some good hikes, found some nice soft snow, got some great turns, just really long powder runs. It was a lot of fun. Dexter, Julie, Elite Wolf, Antoine from Quebec, Mayo, Xander, what's up, guys? Anthony K, hello from France. Good to see all you guys. Isaac, hey from Australia. Man, awesome. Good to see all you guys. So, E Llama asking, hey, are you left or right-handed? I am right-handed and I'm regular-footed on my snowboard, although I don't think that there's any correlation there. And then Elite Wolf 178 asks, how do you feel about the Burton Custom? The Burton Custom is a great board. I actually put it in my top 5 do-it-all snowboard list. So hopefully you guys check that out. We put that out towards the beginning of the season, and yeah, it's a pretty much go anywhere, do anything kind of snowboard. Whether you're hitting park, whether you're carving, whether you're in the powder, it's going to perform pretty well. It's kind of stiff. I'd say it's on the stiffer side of medium. Full camber snowboard, and it does have a setback stance, but it has a twin flex. So that's probably my favorite part about the custom. So if you're in powder or you're doing just going to be carving most of the day, you can leave it at the reference stance with that little bit of a setback. It's going to help you float more in powder, going to help you set a stronger edge for carving. But if you're going to be doing a park day, you can just shift your stance forward, and the board's got a twin flex. So then you can pretty much ride it just like a true twin. Really fun snowboard. Definitely a solid choice if that's one of the boards you're looking at. Dean asking, how's the global warmer? I haven't tried it yet. So Kevin rode it a few days in Japan, and I think he was really stoked on it. It was his first time trying 3BT. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot more of that snowboard in the videos. And I actually have one in my truck right now. So I'll be on that board pretty soon as well. And I can give you some more thoughts next week if you hop back on. We'll have a review coming out on that guy as well. Het asking, am I also a snowboard teacher? Nope, I'm not. I've actually never taught snowboarding. I just love it. Been snowboarding for a long time and just try to ride as much as possible. Tristan from the Netherlands, from Holland. Alvaro from Sweden. What is up, guys? Julie from Germany. So Carrie asks, tips for choosing a park snowboard. Well, I would say it depends on what you want to do in the park. You know, if it's going to be more of a jib focus, if you're more of a jib focused rider, I definitely recommend getting a softer flexing snowboard. I still prefer camber for both jibbing and jumping, but if you get a rocker board, that might make doing presses on rails and stuff a little bit easier for you. But I'd definitely say a soft flex is going to be the key thing for jibbing, just to help you do those more technical tricks, get those presses, and just be able to maneuver the board a little bit easier. For jumping, you want a little bit of a stiffer board just so that you have the stability on landings, especially as you're starting to hit bigger jumps or do bigger spins and things like that. You just have a little bit more precise control. And I'd recommend a camber board for jumping as well. So I actually have a top 5 freestyle snowboards up on the channel, a video about that. So check that out. All 5 of those are great options. It's a nice mix of kind of softer flexing to mid and more stiff flexing snowboards there for you. But yeah, there's a ton of good options out there. The GNU Headspace is one of my favorites, is kind of a do-it-all, and I've also really been liking the Italian Evil Twin this year. I think the 3BT is super helpful in the park. Hope that helps you out, man. Jaina Handel asking, what's an easy trick for beginners to learn? I would say, you know, if you're just learning your first tricks, definitely an ollie. It's also a skill, I would say. That'll kind of open up a lot of doors to do other tricks like 180s and things like that. And then your basic butter tricks, I'd get started with, like nose presses, tail presses, and then once you have those down, maybe start trying to spin while you're pressing and stuff like that. And then a board slide. I'd say a board slide on a box. If you're looking at rails, you want to get into that side of riding, that's probably the first go-to trick, as well as 50-50s. You definitely want to have a 50-50 and a board slide. All right, Osvaldo with the super chat. Thanks, man. A stiff board that is good for carving and powder. I would say the Libtech T-Rice Pro comes to mind. That guy's relatively stiff. Kevin's been loving it for carving. It's got magnet traction. It's a rocker dominant shape. It's their C2 rocker camber profile. So that would be a pretty good choice. Let me see, something really stiff. The another rocker option could be the Never Summer 25. I thought that board was really stiff, very aggressive snowboard. You felt everything underfoot. You could lay out some really tight and aggressive turns with it. So maybe check that guy out. And probably my top recommendation, this is going to be a hybrid camber underfoot, rocker in the nose and tail with a 3D spooned out nose and tail. It's the Jones Flagship. I think that guy is awesome. That's kind of no speed limit, go as fast as you want, super stable, great for carving. It's got magnet traction as well, and it's got a taper and a setback stance, so that guy's gonna float in powder pretty well also. And you got the spooned out nose and tail, so everything combined is just gonna make that board a ton of fun for carving and for powder also. So check those guys out, Osvaldo. I hope that helps you out, man. Thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna take a sip of my tea real quick here. All right, we got another super chat coming through. Aaron Chung, thank you, man. Good stuff, TJ. I like to ride aggressively, all mountain, carving, natural hits, almost no park. Looking at either the Never Summer West or the Travis Pro. Let's see, all mountain, carving, natural hits, and no park. I think the West could be a good choice for you for sure, and the T-Rice Pro, especially if you're looking at doing some natural features. Both going to be a lot of fun for carving. I'd also throw the Arbor Iguchi Pro out there for you. I think that would be a really good option. It's one of my favorites. It's got the grip tech that's going to give you, comparable grip to magnet traction, helping you out on ice. Super fun for carving, and it's still a directional twin, so perfect for natural features. And I really like the side cut for carving on that guy, so maybe check that one out as well. Let's see. Definitely also consider the Jones Mountain Twin. That pretty much fits the bill exactly for what you're describing, Aaron. So I would say check those two boards out, but the two that you're already looking at are both great choices as well. Those are both rocker dominant though, so just make sure, I think for carving, especially if you're carving aggressively, a lot of times camber can be the way to go. But those boards are stiff enough where you can definitely still lay out some aggressive carves. And Susan Prozac with the super chat. Hey TJ, thoughts on the 32 FT system? I am not familiar with the FT system. Maybe I'm just not reading that correctly, but I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry, Susan. But I have been rocking the 32 TM3s this year, been riding the TM2s for the last few years before this, and I'm a fan. They fit my feet well. The TM3s are probably some of the most comfortable boots I've ever had. I've been really enjoying them. They are a little softer than I thought, though. I'm gonna do a more close comparison to the TM2 and the TM3 at some point this season, and decide which one I want to stick with for next year. But 32 is definitely a solid company to go with if they work for your foot. The best boot is the boot that fits your foot. So if you can, go in and get a boot fit and try on a few different pairs. Osvaldo with another super chat asking about board size this time. We got looking for a good size board for 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. Well, I would say, you definitely want to check the reference chart that the brand is going to provide. Make sure you're falling within that weight range. I would say you're looking at 158 plus. 158 to 161, depending on what you're trying to do. I know you were talking about carving and powder earlier, so honestly, if those are the main things you're going after, you're not looking for park, you could lean to the bigger side for more stability. So I would say, yeah, a 160 would probably be pretty solid. Stiff 158 could work as well, but you're probably on the lower side of the spectrum on weight for a 158. But yeah, I think around there would work pretty well for you, depending on the board that you choose, man. And Dragonic Kaiser with another super chat coming through here, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And he's asking, I live in Virginia. We don't get a whole lot of snow. What board would you suggest for a lot of park riding that can also ride all mountain? Two boards that immediately come to mind are the GNU Headspace and the Never Summer Prototype 2. I think those would both be good options for you. A camber dominant and a rocker dominant option there. So the biggest thing with the Headspace is that it's got magnet traction. It's got that ASIM side cut, so it's fun for carving and cruising around the mountain. It's going to provide tons of grip on variable conditions, and that camber is still going to give you lots of pop, but it's soft enough for presses and pretty much anything you want to do. So if you haven't, check out the review on that board. That's one of my favorites. And the Prototype 2, we also have a review on. solid mid-flexing rocker dominant board. You got the ASIM side cut as well, the Ripsaw rocker camber profile, so there is some camber underfoot to help out with pop and stability on that guy. And then you're going to find the Vario power grip side cut, so not really as much traction on ice as the magnet traction is going to provide, but it's still got something there for you. Both of those out. Also, the Arbor Westmark camber, I think, would be a lot of fun for you. You know, you got the Grip Tech side cut, full camber with the uprise fender, so it's nice and catch free, even though you still got that powerful, precise camber feeling. And yeah, that's another really fun. Gaming with a super chat here. Hey man, I asked in the chin. That's you're gonna be looking at a pretty burly board. You know, you're gonna be able to flex some boards out, even some stiffer boards, pretty seriously with that much weight behind you, and your height too, gonna give you more leverage. So the first board that comes to mind is the LibTech Skunk Ape. You know, I imagine you probably have a fairly large boot size as well. So that board's kind of built for just burlier dudes that have bigger boots and more weight behind them. Still going to charge really well. You're going to get the magnet traction and everything else that you normally get from LibTech. That would probably be the top recommendation, I would say, at least in my opinion. If you want to look at some other boards, you could maybe check out the Battalion Goliath as well. That's another go-to of mine in this situation. And you'd probably want to size up pretty good to make sure you have the width and the stability that you want. But yeah, check both of those boards out. I think the Skunk Ape is going to be the best for you. Awesome. Thank you for all the super chats, guys. Thank you guys all for being here. I see we're already at 74 likes. If we could get that up over 100 or to 150, that'd be sick. Thank you guys for hanging out with me here today. So I'm just back in the regular chat now. I'm going to scroll up a bit and see what questions I missed here. Thank all you guys for those super chats. Let's see. Callie Carlson asking if I've ever tried the Outer Space Living from Capita and what my thoughts are if I have. I actually have not tried that snowboard, but I am going to be on it soon. So I'm going to be riding some Capita boards at the end of the season. Have actually lots and lots of board reviews coming up to finish off the season here in Colorado. The Breckenridge is going to be open until April 22nd, and then we'll still have A Basin after that. But until Breck closes, really trying to get on a lot of different boards, and Capita is going to be one of the brands. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But as far as what I know about it, I think it's a pretty solid park snowboard, and yeah, I think honestly I just want to wait till I ride it and give you a better description of what I think. Max Nelson going snowboarding on Wednesday. Sick, dude. Hope you have fun out there. Hope you have some good conditions wherever you're at. It's been nice and sunny here in Colorado lately. More park days and groomer days, obviously without the snow. The trees are all kind of like rutted out and snaked out, but some of them are still fun. Sammy G asking if Oakleys are worth it. In my opinion, I think they are. You know, I've been able to try a lot of different goggles this season, thanks to Kevin and SportRx sending out a bunch of goggles for us to try. And as far as just the fit, like the foam and the comfort and just like fitting your face really well, I think Oakley does probably the best job. The lens, the Oakley Prism, is probably my favorite lens as well. But, you know, they are on the higher side of the spectrum as far as price goes. So I always like to shout out Dragon as well. That's probably my second favorite brand. All of their goggles are going to come with a spare lens. So you're going to get that highlight and the low light, whereas with Oakley, you'd have to buy a separate lens. And we got Sunglass Rob on the stream. What's up, Rob? Hope you're doing well, man. I think we might actually have a giveaway coming up soon with SportRx, so stay tuned for that. That'll be on Instagram. My Instagram's at Board Archive. Kevin's is at SnowboardProCamp if you want to follow us there. But yeah, Oakley is my favorite if I just had to choose one brand, I would say, for sure. Awesome. I think I saw a super chat come through here. Let me snag this question real quick. From Rappy90. Thanks for the super chat, man. I have more toe overhang than heel, binding as far back as possible. I don't drag my toe, but could it still affect overall riding and stability? K2 155 SD10. I would say, you know, if your toes aren't dragging, when you're really laying the board over, then it's nothing to worry about. That really the whole idea with centering your boot on the board is just to eliminate heel or toe drag. So if that's not an issue, then you're fine. Um, I don't know what bindings you're pairing that with. If you can adjust the heel cup, or if there's any way you can shift it back any further to center it up a bit more, that would be ideal to have it centered. But as long as that toe's not dragging in the snow, digging in there, pulling you down, I wouldn't worry about it, man. I think you'll be just fine. It shouldn't affect anything else. Thanks for the super chat. I got some questions coming through for Rob. I see. Awesome, man. Snow Bunny 1001 with the flight decks. Good choice. Good choice. Those are my favorite as well. All right. Just scrolling back through the questions here, guys. Alex Flynn, this is an interesting question. So Alex asks, any tips for making snowboard edits? Yeah, so definitely, I think a lot of it, the main part of it obviously comes down to the filming, making sure you're getting some good footage. So, if you're filming with a GoPro, make sure that you're close to the rider. If it's pretty easy to get too far away on a GoPro and then have the rider just be a very small speck on the screen. You want the rider to be the focal point of the shot, taking up most of the screen, and you want to try not to cut the snowboard or the rider's head out of the frame if you can. Also, mix up the angles. It's most people don't think it's very interesting to watch an edit that's just kind of one static angle the whole time. So mix it up, film from behind, film from in front, film from the side, maybe do some static post-up painting shots. There's all kinds of different angles you can do. And then as far as the actual editing goes, I would say, use some transitions. Try to make the video into a story if possible. I don't know if you're doing any talking in the video, if you're just kind of doing maybe some time lapses or some kind of other B-roll shot in between clips. That's another thing. You definitely want to break up the riding shots with B-roll clips. So those two things are huge. And then if you're using Premiere Pro, one last thing I like to do is use an audio transition, just really, really short, like 1/10 of a second on every clip, to eliminate any popping noises. If you put two clips right beside each other and one has a loud audio and the other one has a low audio, you're going to hear a pop, and that can be pretty annoying in the final product. So maybe do that as well. Yeah, those are just a few things I would say off the top of my head. Might be a good topic for a video, man. But yeah, glad you're out there shredding, making some edits. All right, got some more super chats coming through here from Sly Dog with the super chat. Thank you, man. Whistler late March, must do runs and shops. You need to get back. You need to get back onto the Yes Greats. I feel the conditions you tested weren't ideal. Love the snowboard. Yeah, I would be down to get on the greats again. I actually had a lot of fun on it. Definitely doing the reviews up on the glacier is a little bit different because you don't really ever have that like hard pack, nice corduroy groomer condition to feel it out on. It's more just like slushy park and transition everywhere. But I think it's still a pretty good stomping grounds to test out boards. But yeah, the greats is super fun. I'll definitely do my best to hop back on that this year if I can. I definitely plan on getting on some more Yes boards and some Jones as well. So that might be one of them. And that's what's up. You're going to be in a Whistler, man, late March. Maybe Kevin will be around, so maybe you'll catch him up there. I don't know if I'm going to make it back up to Whistler this year, but maybe. I would say as far as shops go, check out Showcase Board Shop. They're a super, super rad shop. They got a Burton test ride center in there, so you can get on any new Burton board. They got the step-ons if you want to try that out. And they just have a great staff with a really wide selection of boards and bindings and apparel and outerwear. It's just a sick shop. So it's like right in the middle of the village. You can't miss it. If you spend some time walking around the village, I'm sure you'll see it. Also, quick restaurant recommendation, Mongoli Grill. One of my favorites out there in Whistler. It's so delicious. It's a stir-fry place, so if you like that kind of food, check that out. And, yeah, I think Showcase is probably my favorite. Evolution Whistler is pretty cool as well, and the Circle, I would say, those are kind of the top three that I've been to at least. So maybe check out those. They're all within quick walking distance of each other. So yeah, just explore, man. There's tons of stuff to see in the village. It's really, really cool place. Hope you have a great trip, man. Thank you for the super chat. Nick Carter, Union Atlas versus Union Force, worth the price difference and any experience with now bindings? I would say yes. If you're looking for more of like a free ride, all mountain binding, more than like a park specific binding, I would say the Atlas is definitely worth it. It's a little bit more rigid, a little bit more responsive. It's basically like the Cadillac version of the Force. I think aside from the added response and rigidity that you'll find in the Atlas, I think my favorite feature is the exo-frame strap that you get. So it's an upgraded strap. It's a 3D molded ankle strap. So it's a little bit more comfortable. I love them. Yeah, I have them on my War Pig actually right here. And yeah, they've been solid. And I have ridden now bindings just a couple of times. I don't think I've even had a full day on them. It's just kind of been on some demo days, like a few laps. And I liked them for sure. They're a solid binding. I don't really have a strong opinion on their skate tech, which is probably the main thing that comes up with now bindings. Um, but I think they definitely are solid and comfortable. I think most of them come with like a 3D molded comfortable ankle strap, and yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about them. All right, let me make sure I got all the super chats here, guys. Awesome. Sick. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I don't think I mentioned this in the beginning. I wanted to do the live stream outside today. It's a beautiful sunny day outside here in Colorado, but it's just too windy. It would have been really, really annoying for you guys to watch. I think if I was outside, you would have just been hearing wind noise the whole time. So I'm just posted up at my desk here where I edit, and I'll actually be doing some editing later tonight. But yeah, that is the reason why I'm just chilling inside today. Hopefully for the rest of the live streams, as much as possible, they'll be outside. I think it's way more fun to kind of show you guys around and kind of where we're at and what's going on, what the weather's like. Awesome. So Niels Hemmel Soet asking, what is my opinion on the Gilson dual snowboard? Yeah, glad you're asking about Gilson, man. There's definitely a smaller company still on the come up, making their boards out in Pennsylvania, I believe, with their what do they call it? Their the soft edge technology. So it's like a big butter pad all on the base of the snowboard, helping make it really catch free when you're flat base, but it still locks in a really strong edge. The Dual is a pretty cool board. I have ridden it. It's got blunted tips. So normally I would ride a 155, but I rode the 149 Dual, and I think it performed pretty well. As far as the effective edge goes, which is the actual part of the edge and side cut that's making contact with the snow, then it's more similar to a 155. So I had a lot of fun on it. It's a pretty soft flexing snowboard, very pressable, very buttery, and has some decent pop as well. The one thing I will say is with that soft edge and all the added base material, the board's a little bit heavy, but that didn't really bother me too much. So there'll be a video on that before the end of the season, man. But yeah, it's a pretty rad board. Thanks for the question. Noah O'Neill asking, can you explain Patreon? Yeah, man. So Patreon's basically just it's like a crowdfunding website where if you guys are stoked on the videos, on the content, on the written reviews, you know, the live streams, everything that we're doing, it's just a great way to help to support everything that we do, and just offset the costs and the time that it takes to do all this stuff. So basically, there's different tiers. You can donate a little bit of money. I think the lowest tier on mine is $1, and you get rewards for it. So you know, I'm putting bonus content out there on Patreon. We're doing live hangouts and some other things as well. So check that out. I will be on there in probably about 45 minutes. Still going to run this live stream for another half hour or so. And that's just patreon.com/board archive. There's more info on the page as well. And check out Kevin's also. His is patreon.com/SnowboardProCamp. And let's see, I saw another good question here, but I think I lost it. That's all right. All right, Alexander Georgiev asking Jones flagship or Warpig or Never Summer Ripsaw. I would say, I mean, if you're looking for something directional for carving and powder, you're not really going to ride park. Check out the flagship. If you want just to do it all, like have fun in any conditions, lay out some turns, rip the park, whatever you want to do, hit some powder. The War Pig is a good option, and yeah, I've really enjoyed my War Pig this year. And the Ripsaw from Never Summer could be a good choice as well if you're going to be doing a lot of freestyle stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a stiffer rocker dominant board from Never Summer. I would probably choose the War Pig or Flagship, but if you're riding park at all, if that's something you're going to be doing regularly, definitely go for the War Pig. All right, I think I saw one more super chat come through here, and then I might take a minute and just talk about flex for a minute with you guys. All right, Emilian Popov, good to see you, Emilian. Thanks for hopping on, regular here on the live streams. Hope you've been doing well, man. TJ, I mostly ride all mountain, POW, hitting side hits, also learning buttering tricks, and recently started hitting the park. The Battalion Evil Twin or Magic Carpet? Oh man. I would say honestly, if you can find it, I would grab the Magic Carpet, man. I really enjoyed that snowboard. It's a ton of fun. It's definitely softer flexing than the Evil Twin, so it's going to be a little bit more pressable, a little bit more buttery. It's really buttery with that POW 3BT, and I think that for riding powder, the Magic Carpet's going to be definitely noticeably better than the Evil Twin, and it'll still be fun for carving. It's got a really fun side cut and side hits and all the other stuff that you mentioned. So the Evil Twin is definitely a solid choice as well. It's a little bit stiffer, but still nice and buttery. Not quite as pressable and buttery as the Magic Carpet, but those are my thoughts on that. So I think, honestly, Emilian, you can't go wrong either way. They're both super fun boards, but I would grab the Magic Carpet if you can find it. And then one more here from Doug Hunt. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it, man. And Doug asks, hey TJ, what do you think of the Union Falcor versus the Rome Katanas? Any recommendations for a pair of bindings for the Brian Noguchi Pro Camber? Awesome, man. I'm not familiar with the Rome Katanas, honestly, man, so I can't speak on those. I wish I could. But the Union Falcor is definitely a sick binding. If you're looking for something that's just ultimate response, aggressive, and lightweight, I think the Falcor is a really good choice. I think that would actually pair really well with the Iguchi Pro. If you wanted something, I think that, you know, the Falcor might be a little rigid for park. So if that's something that you're wanting to do regularly on your Iguchi, maybe check out the Atlas. I think that might be just a little bit more conducive to like tweaking grabs and presses and butters and things like that. But yeah, the Falcor is definitely going to be the lighter weight, more responsive option. So yeah, sick choice, dude. And yeah, one of my favorite boards, man. It's going to be a ton of fun. Hope you still have some season left wherever you are and you get to try it out, man. That thing's even fun on groomers or really any terrain that you have available. All right, sick guys. I'm going to hop back over to the regular chat. And I'm going to take a minute and I'm just going to talk about board flex a little bit. Just going to break it down to soft, medium, and stiffer board flex. So I don't have the links down in the description right now, but as soon as this live stream is over, in between this one and Patreon, I'll throw just a couple of recommendations on soft, mid, and stiffer boards that I personally enjoy a lot. So I would say a soft flexing snowboard, I would rate, you know, between 1 and 3 on the flex rating. I don't think I've ever given a snowboard a rating of 1. There's a couple that I've given a 2 and a bunch that fall in the 3 and like 3 and 4 range. But basically a soft board is pretty much going to be more freestyle leaning. It's going to be pressable. It's going to be buttery. It's probably going to have a soft torsional flex as well, which if you twist the snowboard, kind of like twist, let's say you twist your left foot forward and your right foot backward, being able to flex the board that way, that's called torsional flex. So that's going to help initiate turns. Softer flexing boards are also going to be way better for beginners, helping you to learn the mechanics of carving. That, you know, softer torsional flex, like I mentioned, is going to help to learn to initiate turns. It also helps to spin out of rail features if you have a soft torsional flex. But the biggest thing is it's going to be very pressable, more buttery, and better for rails in my opinion. Also good for beginners. And one other thing, maybe like a downside of a softer flexing snowboard, is that at higher speeds, it's not going to be super stable. You know, the tips are going to feel pretty washy on a really soft snowboard, especially as you start to pick up some speed. And you know, as you go really fast, even if you're flat base, you might experience some snowboard harmonics, also referred to as chatter. So basically, when the nose and tail start vibrating up and down at really high speeds. That's going to happen sooner on a softer flexing board than on a stiffer or more medium flexing snowboard. So then you have your medium flex snowboard. So I would say that's more between like the 4 to 6 range. 4 is still going to be, you know, relatively soft and playful. 6 is starting to get kind of aggressive. I would say boards in this range, they're going to be more of your do-it-all style boards. So you know, like the Capita DOA, I would say that's kind of more of a true mid flex 5 out of 10. You got the Never Summer Fun Slinger that I'd rate more like a 4 out of 10, and then something like the Aguchi Pro Camber, which I'd rate more like a 6 out of 10. So like I said, those are going to be more of your do anything kind of style snowboards. On the softer side of the flex there, in the mid range, I'd say you're still going to be able to get some good presses. You're still going to have fun buttering around on those snowboards. You know, it's going to be a good compromise for doing rails, like a rail focused board that you still want to hit some bigger jumps with. The mid flex, kind of similar, you know, maybe a little bit more difficult to get into those presses, but still very possible, still super fun on rails, not crazy stiff longitudinally long ways or torsionally. You're also going to start to find more pop as you get to the mid flex range. So it's a little bit harder to load up the tail of the board, but it's going to give back more energy. So they hold energy a little bit better. And yeah, if you're looking to like jump and jib, I'd be looking at boards kind of in that range. As you get to the stiffer side of medium, like say like 6 out of 10, you're kind of starting to lean more away from that rail focus style riding. You can still definitely have some fun on rails. It's not going to feel like crazy awkward, but it's going to be starting to get more difficult to get into presses and do those more technical tricks. So I would say a lot of times mid flexing boards are they tend to be kind of damp as well. So going over choppy terrain, having a softer nose that still has some good stability is going to help to absorb some shocks as well. So that's I as like a daily driver, I would say, you know, once you're like an intermediate rider, maybe look at a mid flexing snowboard. And then you have the opposite end of the spectrum, the super stiff snowboards or the stiffer flexing boards. You know, things like the Jones Flagship, the Never Summer 25. There's definitely still a lot of options on the stiffer side of the spectrum. This is going to be more of like your all mountain free ride, charging, like riding steep technical lines, riding, you know, high speed powder, just that aggressive rider that wants to turn at high speeds, do sharp aggressive turns. These are boards that are going to provide you loads of stability at high speeds on big jumps, hitting big features. I would say most of the time, if I'm looking at a really stiff snowboard, the type of riding that I want to do is going to be high speed carving. You know, those are going to be the boards, like I said earlier about the Jones Flagship, where you can point it down a steep groomer and just go until you get scared. The board's going to be have plenty of stability for you. It's going to stay nice and stable. It's going to do well turning at those higher speeds, and you know, you're going to feel confident in the snowboard. You're not going to feel like, oh, maybe if I turn too hard, I'm going to wash out. That nose is going to flex out, and something bad might happen. Those are definitely more of your aggressive style boards, and yeah, a lot of free ride boards, and even some powder boards you're going to find at that stiffer flex rating. So that's just a quick kind of rundown there, soft, medium versus stiff snowboards. I hope that helps you guys out. Like I said, as soon as this live stream is over, I will leave some links down in the description. So yeah, if you guys want to check out some different boards that I've ridden that I think are pretty rad, check that out here in a little bit. But for now, I will get back to your questions. I saw a bunch of questions come through as I was blabbing away there. Let's see. Joey Miyake asking, I've been riding for 2 years and I like to ride park. I've rented a board this year and it was bad. Should I buy the Solomon Huck knife or just rent next year? I mean, honestly, man, it sounds like you had a bad experience with your rental, which, it's convenient to rent. And, if you're only riding a few days out of the year, like 5, 6, 7 days, it can make sense. But, once you start riding 10 or more days, I think it makes way more sense to just have your own setup, something that's going to be consistent, something that you had, a lot of input into choosing, and, something that, it's yours. So after you're done with it, you can sell it. You can have a backup snowboard for your friends, or you can start to build out a quiver if you're really starting to like snowboarding. So I would say it's definitely well worth it. Especially since you said you've been riding for 2 years, you're already riding park. It sounds like it would definitely be worth investing in your own setup. A lot of times they don't even want you taking those rental boards in the park just for fear of damaging them. But yeah, I think if you get your own setup, you're gonna have a really proper fit. You're gonna hopefully get some really proper fitting boots, which will make a big difference. And I think the Huck knife is a good choice, man. It's not too aggressive, really fun in the park, and just a solid all around board. I hope you guys have seen the review on that one. Simon Frieden asking, "Hey TJ, have you heard of the brand Stepchild? I can't really find any reviews on them. Are they any good? Thanks." I have heard of Stepchild. I've actually never ridden one. They are really popular with certain groups. I've seen like the Footy Fiend guys ride a lot of Stepchilds, and I would say they're solid. They're solid boards for sure. I would say they kind of remind me of the brand Dinosaurs Will Die, if you guys know about them. I don't think that they're bad boards by any means, but I've never ridden one, so I can't speak too much as far as like the quality or how they ride, or I don't know any of the models or anything like that. But if you find one and the specs line up, you're getting a good deal or whatever, you're just really stoked on it, I would say go for it. I'm sure they're pretty solid snowboards. Jack Wu, because the War Pig is already tapered and set back, is it still necessary to set your stance back in powder? So the War Pig actually does not have a setback stance. The stance is centered within the side cut, and I think I may have said that wrong in the review. I don't know if that's where you got it. If it is, I apologize. But the stance is actually not set back on the War Pig. So I think with the extra width and that really long nose, it does pretty well in the powder, honestly, even with your stance centered. But if it's going to be really deep pow, I would recommend setting your stance back, man, for sure. If you're on any kind of twinish style snowboard, directional twin, asim twin, true twin, whatever, if you're going to be riding like a true powder day, I would set your stance back. Jace Okada, what do you think about the 2018 Burton Kilroy process? I'm stoked on it, man. I believe I put that in as one of my top freestyle picks on the video, the top 5 freestyle snowboards on the channel. Super sick snowboard. You got that unique graphic on it. It's like all white top sheets looking. It's a really good looking snowboard. It's kind of stiff. It's not super stiff. I'd say it's definitely still a mid flexing snowboard. You can definitely get some presses on it, hit rails with it, but overall I'd say it's a bit more of a jump leaning snowboard. But check out the review on it, man. There's a video on the channel. You can see me riding it and see how it handles on snow and hear me talk about it a little bit more too. That's probably where you'll get the most info. Got a written review on that guy as well, so that's available on the site boardarchive.com if you guys want to check that out. Oh man, Hayden Kolb asking, "Hey TJ, any thoughts on a good women's all mountain freestyle snowboard?" Definitely, man. The first one that comes to mind is probably the Battalion Feel Better. I think that's a solid snowboard from Battalion, kind of mid flexing, full camber, got the 3BT, going to be pretty good anywhere for you. Also, the Arbor Swoon, I really like a lot. Might be a little bit better for all mountain and like free riding and stuff because you got that grip tech in the side cut. So on ice, that's going to help you out. And they offer that in a camber and a rocker version. So I would check out the Arbor Swoon and the Burton Feel Better. I think those are both pretty good options, man. And we got a super chat coming through from Paul O. What's up, Paul? Good to see you, man. Thank you for the super chat, dude. And he says, "Hey TJ, you're still planning on making the board archive hoodies available on your website for springwear. I know you've been busy. Actually, I just announced on my Instagram story about an hour ago that they are available on the site, and there's actually only a few left, man. I actually put them live on Friday, and I just didn't tell anyone, and a few people already found them. So there's one medium left, two larges, and one extra large. So um, yeah, they're there right now. If you guys are curious, I'm wearing the hoodie right now. Logo on the chest, board archive going down the arm. Super stoked on them. It's a heavyweight hoodie. I wear a size large. I'm like 5'10", and it fits great. I wear it riding and for casual. And yeah, it's available on the site right now. And I think you have a coupon code, so make sure you use that, and you can get, I think, like $5 off or something. But yeah, thanks, Paul. Super stoked that you brought that up, and I hope you grab one, man. I'd be stoked if you were repping. And I'll get some more made soon. I suspect that these are gonna go. They've already gone way quicker than I thought they would, so we'll have another batch coming up this year. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, it's boardarchive.com/shop, and there's some other merch on there too. Kevin's got some merch too. SnowboardProCamp.com/merch. And Osvaldo, back with another super chat, man. Thank you, crushing super chats today. Solomon Ultimate Ride looks like a awesome board. Any opinion on it? Just saw it online. Seems like a board that has features that I want. Yeah, I really, really like the Ultimate Ride. I would say that's probably the most comparable to the Capita DOA on Solomon's line. We do have a video review on it and written review as well, so check those out. But yeah, it's a camber dominant snowboard, solid mid flex, kind of a good just do it all board. You know, it's really fun in the park. It's poppy. You can still get some presses on it, do some butters with it, and it's got enough stability for some high speed carving also. And yeah, I would recommend it, man. If that board kind of stands out to you, I would jump on it, dude. The Ultimate Ride is a lot of fun. But you'll get more info and you'll get to see it in action in the board review. So check that out as well, man. All right. Tyler Vaughn asking another interesting kind of filming question here. So Tyler's asking, for GoPros, what are some tips for camera angles when recording? So I'll just kind of go through a few of my favorite angles. So first off, I'll let you guys know Kevin and I are filming pretty much everything this year on the GoPro Hero 6 in 1080 linear mode, 1080 resolution, 60 frames per second in the linear mode. So I think that just results in a really good product. I'd say the three standard angles when you're snowboarding with your friend or with your filmer or whatever is from behind, or kind of offset on the side behind. Directly side by side, I think, is really cool for carving shots. If the filmer stays stationary and you're carving toward and away from the camera, that looks really cool. And if you can, this is pretty hard to do, but if your filmer is comfortable, get the filmer riding in front of you, point a camera backwards, and get the front angle. I think that's also a really cool one for butters, for carving, ollies, even park laps. That angle comes out really well. And then for a post-up angle, I would like say on a jump, I like to be at the corner of the feature. Whether you're this, it's pretty standard, I would say, across rails or jumps. The bottom corner is usually ends up with a pretty good shot. Just make sure you're close enough. That's the big thing with GoPros, is you got to stay close. Panning shots, or if you just hold the camera static and let the rider jump into frame, that can be pretty cool also. And then the last one, I would say, if you're doing selfie filming, I do this a lot for carving or for tree runs, is throw the GoPro in super view, and I use a 40-inch like GoPro pole, have that all the way extended with the camera upside down, kind of hanging on off the bottom of the pole facing you. If you do that in super view, at least with the 40-inch pole, you can get your entire body in the frame. So you get a pretty cool angle. You can see the board and your head, and you get some you can get some pretty cool carving shots as well. So I probably talked a little too long on that one. I just thought that was a fun question. So have fun out there filming, man. But yeah, stay close. Make sure the rider is the main focus and you're not too far away. That's the most common mistake with GoPro. Jack Winton, I heard using a GoPro Karma grip on a pole makes it look like a drone. Where'd you hear that, man? Yeah, no, it does absolutely. We've been doing that a lot this winter, Kevin and I. I think the first video we tried it out was in Whistler. I think drone style is in the name of the video. I can't remember the exact title though, but yeah. So I would definitely recommend experimenting with that. Putting the Karma grip on a handle and holding the Karma grip way up high in the air and angling the camera down. It's tricky to film because you're filming pretty much completely blind, but the shots come out really, really cool. I've been trying to incorporate that a lot into the videos. But yeah, pretty much anything with the Karma grip is just it just takes the footage to the next level because that background just stays so steady. It just makes everything really cinematic. Alex Flynn, I see your question. I was just about to answer it, so I'll give you a shout out. Yes, I definitely would recommend using a stabilizer like the Karma grip. If you film a bunch and that's something that you think is worth it for you, I think it really takes your footage to the next level. And then you can do the cool drone style stuff and like the chase cam where I was saying like filming uphill and having the rider chase you. It makes that a lot easier as well. Oh, random outdoors. What is your favorite snowboard? So I don't think I could pick one single favorite snowboard. The three boards that I've been riding this year that I'm really stoked on are the Battalion Evil Twin. I'm actually riding the Evil Twin ASIM now, which is pretty similar, a little bit stiffer, but yeah, the Battalion Evil Twin is definitely one of my favorite boards of the season. The Ride Warpig, been loving that guy. And then I also have the K287, which I think is a really fun kind of carving powder freeride snowboard. But I am a believer in having a quiver, and I think if you're out there snowboarding a lot, having at least two boards, like a daily driver, and then more of like a powder or carving focused snowboard, is definitely worth the investment. Even if you don't have two pairs of bindings, just having the two boards, yeah, it changes the game. Instead of because I used to try to just make a true twin work for everything, and you're always making a compromise, except in the park sometimes. Caleb Jones was my favorite goggles. The Oakley Flight Deck, love those guys. And I think I'm gonna do a quick speed round. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss any super chats. And awesome, yeah, I think I got them all. So I'm gonna scroll up here, and I'm just gonna do quick, short answers to as many questions as I can, and we'll see how many questions I can get through. So we'll do a quick speed round. All right. Chopper Styles 510. What's up, TJ? Y'all from Cali. What's up? Oh, no, what's up, y'all? And he's joining us from Cali, man. Good to see you. LB Bortz. Hi, TJ. I'm an intermediate snowboarder, and I'm keen to buy a board. Do you have any advice? I'm 13. I would say check out the board reviews. For an intermediate, I would say look at maybe something more mid-flexing. Get a nice versatile snowboard for your first one, and being 13, get something you can grow into. So maybe just a slightly bigger size. Buck Shaves, hey TJ, I'm a kid and I need a park board. What should I get? Oh man, I don't think the recommendations change much, even if you're a kid. As long as you're still able to fit on that spectrum of sizes. A lot of the park boards go down to pretty small sizes. Otherwise, if you're looking at kids boards, I couldn't recommend one in particular. They're very limited, so I would just get one that you're stoked on and that you're going to be hyped to pick up and go ride. Gabo Golf, what's your take on the Ride Kink? Kink is a fun snowboard. They've changed it. Now it's camber. It's a little bit stiffer. Good, kind of more jump-oriented, do-it-all style, freestyle snowboard. Ross741, hey TJ, what flex in boots and bindings do you recommend for beginners? Softer. I'd recommend softer boots, maybe something like the Lash. It's just going to be more comfortable, and I think, yeah, you don't really need that aggressive, responsive boot when you're just starting out. And for bindings, I would go maybe more like a softer to mid-flexing binding. For beginners, I wouldn't recommend anything too stiff, just all around the board. Nitro Quiver POW or Spring Break Catamaran from Larry Tran. I didn't get a chance to ride the POW, but I love the Catamaran. Man, Personally, I think Kevin would definitely say the PAL, but I would say the catamaran. Maybe if I rode it, it would change my mind. But honestly, the catamaran was really sick. It was super functional, and I can't get over how good it looks, man. It's just so unique. The catamaran is awesome. Jake Sherrard, do you ever bring your really expensive camera out, or are you always on the GoPro? Pretty much always filming on the GoPro, sometimes using the cell phone. I do have a DSLR that I used to film with, but I haven't brought it out this year at all. Maybe as an alternate angle, but it's just too much work, honestly. It's more productive to just use the GoPro. Yeah, use the best camera is the one that you're going to actually use. So for me, that's the GoPro. Any suggestions for a pair of goggles, mid-range price? Thank you very much. I would say check out the Squad XL or the Squad from Smith if you're looking at a lower to mid-range goggle. That one is really sick. Comes with chroma pop and a spare lens. Check that one out. Josh Park, hey TJ, you guys inspired me to get into snowboarding, and I'm looking to buy my first board. I'll be boarding in Norway on slopes and geoparks. Is there a cheaper but quality board I could get? I would say check out the Arbor Formula. That's probably my favorite. It comes in at a nice entry-level price point. It's $350 US. You can't really find a brand new snowboard at a price lower than that. That would be my top recommendation, man. Arbor Formula. M. Drangen, could you maybe do a giveaway of some of your old equipment? I don't know, man. Maybe if it was local, you could come pick it up. I might be into giving some away, but I don't have that much, honestly. But yeah, maybe. But I think I will be doing a goggle giveaway on Instagram soon, though. So stay tuned for that. At Board Archive, Kevin's at Snowboard Pro Camp. Yeah, stay tuned for that. That's coming up soon. Any GoPro stabilizer recommendations? I definitely recommend the Karma Grip if you have the GoPro Hero 5 or 6. It's just got the strongest motors out there, keeping the GoPro the most stable in those aggressive snowboard situations. I was using a Feiyutech last year, and I'm way significantly more impressed with the Karma Grip. The Chinese ones will work, but I think the Karma is on top right now. All right, let's see here. How do I hit a flat down when there is a huge lip? Um, I would say if it's set up that way, it's probably set up to gap to the down. So if you're comfortable, you could try that. Otherwise, just approach it with enough speed to ollie up onto the flat and then just slide onto the down from there. A million, giving a shout out to the regulars and all the new guys on the live stream. Seriously, thank you guys for being here. I'm so stoked to get to hang out with you every week. And Elias, will you ever do a collab with Matt or David? Definitely. I don't know about Matt this season just because he's so far away, but I know David's in Colorado right now. He's going to be ripping copper. So, yeah, David, probably Jonathan Buckhouse and Ryan Napton as well. Maybe all of us in one video. Who knows? But, yeah, definitely some collabs coming. What's your stance for free ride and freestyle from Ismail? I ride 15, negative 15 for pretty much everything except for on a powder day or if I'm on a on a setback board where excuse me, where I'm going to be doing a lot of carving, then I just shift my back foot in just a little bit to 12. So either 15, 15 or 15, 12. Caleb Jones, I need to wax really bad. What should I do? You should, if hey, sorry guys. But yeah, get some wax and an iron and wax your snowboard, man. There's a video on the channel showing you how to do it. And I think, you know, you could take it into a shop, but if you're riding a lot, it's well worth the investment. You could even use an old iron from like the thrift store or something if you don't want to invest in a snowboard iron. But yeah, waxing is critical, man. It makes snowboarding way more fun to have a fast snowboard. All right. Have you guys reviewed the Oakley React heated goggles? Nope, but I think SportRx has. But maybe we'll get the chance to next season. I feel like it's already too warm this year. Like I'm not even going to need that. It's like literally spring out here in Colorado. Surfer, who inspired you to try snowboarding? Actually, good friends of mine who I learned to skateboard with. just offered to take me one day, and I thought it was the funnest thing ever. And I didn't even get into snowboard videos for like the first 8 years of my snowboarding. I was just like going to the mountain and like seeing the riders in the park or whoever was doing cool stuff and getting stoked on that. Um, yeah, that's kind of how that went down. I am soups. I am soups. Nice. All right, guys, just a couple more here. Hector Abreu, what are your thoughts on the K2 Worldwide Weapon? Solid park snowboard. I haven't ridden it in a few years, but I've been in contact with K2. I think I'm going to get the chance to ride a few of their boards this season still, and I specifically requested the Worldwide Weapon, so hopefully that one is coming up soon. Um, any tips for riding a super pipe? Honestly, man, I still think they're super scary. So I would say just start carving up the walls. Start on a mini pipe if you can, and just have proper technique. Learn the technique to ride it the right way because it is big, it is icy, it's not forgiving. And Carrie Pierce, what's up, Carrie? Don't know if you're still here, but shout out to Carrie. Met her in Japan. Glad you're liking the Japan videos. Hope you and your family are doing well. You Emelian Popov Japan trip versus Euro trip. Dude, you can't make me choose. They were both so good, and they're so different. I think as you can see in the videos. So they were both crazy fun. And I think I saw one last super chat come through here from Diego Tobar. Opinion on a hard charging board that can dip in POW. As I mentioned earlier, I think the Jones flagship is my go-to. It's really fun, stiffer flexing snowboard, great for carving. It's got a setback stance and a taper, gonna float well in powder. Got the spooned out nose and tail and magnet traction, and basalt stringers in there. It's just a decked out snowboard, really good for that style of riding. It maybe also is just a little bit of a more forgiving option. The Arbor Iguchi Pro Camber I really like as well. Not as powder focused as the flagship, but still really fun. So awesome, guys. So just hit the hour mark. Gonna cut the live stream this week. Thank you guys so much for being here. Stoked to see you again next week. Stay tuned for Kevin going live on Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Although it might be a different time since we're still snowboarding. It might be a little later in the day, but he'll probably schedule it. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Gonna hop onto Patreon now to just do a quick 30-minute hangout. It's a little bit of a mellower, just kind of direct conversation with you guys that want to hop on there. So that'll be about 15 minutes from now over on Patreon. Patreon.com/board archive. Kevin's is patreon.com/snowboardprocamp. Also, stay tuned on Instagram for the giveaway. And just to see more behind the scenes stuff, we keep that story going. That's just at Board Archive and at Snowboard Pro Camp. Great hanging out with you guys. Thank you for all the great questions. Thank you for all the super chats. And hopefully next week we'll be outside. It'll be a little bit nicer and less windy. So see you guys then. Take care, guys.